Okay, guys, we're live. Dave's LFC Chats. Myself and Keith are in the house. Keith, how are you?
All right, how are you?
Well, we've been waiting for so long for a bloody football match with Liverpool. What is it, 2-3 weeks? Nearly 3 weeks.
You'll enjoy it all the more when it comes back.
I know. I'm going to have a great little chat with Keith tonight, obviously, and we're going to have a chat with the Yanks of the Cup. There's two of them in the green room. I can see them in the green room. We've got Steve in the green room. Like, he's laughing there in the background. And we've scanned. We're home. He's done a runner. I don't know where he's gone, but hopefully he'll come in at some stage as well. The Yanks of the Cup. We're going to bring them into the green room because they've just finished their wine and all the lovely stuff you get in green rooms. So, there he is. There's my homie now. He's in the house. One at a time, boys. We'll bring in scans for. Oh no, do you know what we want? We'll bring in Steve from the Yanks of the Cup. How are you, Steve?
There we go. Doing great. Thanks for having us on. Keith, good to meet you. Super excited to be on.
Yeah. The first time you would have met Keith, yeah?
Yep.
I'll tell you what we're going to do tonight. It's going to be a nice, simple, relaxed hour or whatever. If you have to go, you can just pop out. That's the good thing about this live stream, as you know. I've no green screen behind me tonight because you know what happened, don't you?
Oh, yeah. No, all about that.
Oh, well, fuck's sake. Don't worry, I have a really good one ordered. A BBC level, top of the level. Okay, I'm going to bring in...
You don't spend that amount of money on stuff, Dave. There's no point. That's why it fell over on you, because you buy cheap.
Go retro, baby.
Yeah.
Retro, baby. Wahomie has just popped in. How are you, my friend?
Doing good, boys. Doing good. Good to be on.
Are you ready to rock and roll, baby?
Yes, I am. Boys.
Good man. Who have we got? Andrew hiding. I don't know what he's doing there, but we'll see if he's still awake. Hold on. Oh, he's on mute. We'll just leave him in there until he pops in. But we've a lot to talk about, boys. The football is back. The Reds are back. Oh, there he is. How are you, my friend? Andrew, how are you? Good. It's like 5-star here. Jackson 5. We're ready to roll, boys.
I'm Michael.
No, I'm Michael. The J5 in the house. I'll tell you what, lads. It's been too long. It's been just how many weeks? I don't even know how many days, but it's been so bloody long. I just can't wait to have a chat about the Reds. Obviously, Arsenal the weekend. Big game away from home, 8 o'clock Saturday at the Emirates. But before we go into that, I didn't know the guy myself personally. I'm sure you've seen it all over Twitter yesterday. Yeah. The Arsenal YouTuber, Claude, who passed away.
Yep.
Rest in peace, Claude. I never met him. I tweeted a few things to him over the years. And I know a lot of people that knew him quite well. But rest in peace, Claude. I'm sure he would have been looking forward to this game this weekend. But crazy world we live in. Okay, guys. Arsenal, the weekend. I don't know what to expect from Arsenal. They're Jekyll and Hyde. They're a bit like us, to be fair. But I don't know what team's going to turn up against Arsenal. I don't know. Who will be Keith? We get you in first. What do you think?
Well, you're right. It's hard to tell, to be honest with you. They seem to be getting a bit more kind of, I suppose, they're kind of getting a bit more identity in terms of how they're playing. So, which is probably a good thing. We've had some time to take a look at them and analyse them and get set up for the match. You know, they are starting to create a bit of an identity in terms of how they're playing, which is probably good for us. I'm probably a bit of a sadist compared to the rest of you four boys because I've actually enjoyed the time off because I've been up to 90 with the whole fucking thing, to be honest. You know,
it's crazy. Yeah.
I've actually enjoyed a little bit of downtime and the kind of switch off. I just felt it's been all encompassing. It's been all, it's been all over us. So I enjoyed the last couple of weeks now, and I'm kind of getting nicely geared up now for this weekend. Is how I'm at now. You boys all seem to be chomping at the bit. Looking forward to Saturday night. So am I. But I have enjoyed a little bit of time off.
Yeah, to be fair, I mean, it was all encompassing. In this game, it is all encompassing. You're looking at tweets. You're looking at stuff on Twitter, fucking Instagram, YouTube, everything. Steve, what do you think Saturday? Obviously, it's a big game. I didn't want us to end after beating Wolves 1-0, which seems so long ago. I didn't want it to end. I wanted us to continue the following week, play another game while we were on a bit of a roll. These breaks can break you up a little bit, can't they, the flow?
Yeah, that was my biggest takeaway too, was, right when it seemed like, the second half of the season, pretty much since December, we've been waiting for some sort of spark, some sort of momentum to start building. And it seemed like we were just starting to do that right before this break hit. And now that we've had the break, my biggest question is, I have two big questions. Is A, how are we going to respond after this long layoff? We've had a lot of guys playing internationals. We've also had a lot of guys still at the training ground here at Kirkby, still working with the teams. It's going to be interesting to see how we mesh coming back into that. But I think for me, this is really going to be the first, in my opinion, the first real test for the center back partnership of Kabak and Phillips, because we haven't really seen them go up against a lot of pace yet. And with guys like Aubameyang, Lacazette, this is going to be really the first time they're going to be going up against some pretty good goal scorers and guys who can move pretty well. So that's going to be something I'm keeping an eye on. If they've been playing really well lately, and if they can continue that going into with this Arsenal match and keep that going into Real Madrid, then sky's the limit with these two guys. So that's what I'm keeping an eye out for.
Big thing for me, and I won't take over. I'll jump out now. Sorry. The big thing for me is how Arsenal actually adopt. Like, I don't know whether they're going to change the way they play. If they change the way they play and start playing the way everybody else plays against us, which is basically try and turn the ball over and send it long down our channels, well, then we know what to expect. But if they try to play through us and play the way they've been playing against everybody else, I don't expect to be a huge amount of balls in behind. They'll try and play through us, which generally suits us, to be honest with you. Generally suits the way we play. So it really does depend on how they set up on the day. And are they going to change the way they've been set up or the way they've been playing? I don't know. I don't think they will. I think they might just match us up man for man and see how they get on the weekend. Sorry, I jumped in.
You're okay. No, you're okay. It's like a talk show. I'm Johnny Carson. Andrew. Andrew,
you are Johnny Carson. You are Johnny Carson. Much more so than Michael, I'll tell you that.
You don't know about that either.
Yeah, man, I'm really looking forward to this weekend. It's gonna be great. Like you said, it's been feels like almost 3 weeks. Maybe it is 3 weeks, but it's been a long time. So I'm excited for the boys in red to get going. I will say that since the Klopp has taken over, I've never been afraid of Arsenal, and that still goes with this weekend. I'm not too afraid of them. I am a little worried about Odegaard in the middle. I think Saka's been obviously a resilient player for them up front. I saw against West Ham they put Aubameyang on the right. So I don't know if they're going to continue with that and keep Lacazette up top. I'm not sure what they're going to do, but it's going to be an exciting affair. And one thing I will say worries me about this one, kind of like what Steven said, is that we've always been a team of momentum. And like you guys kind of mentioned, we had that momentum, and then all of a sudden there's a 3-week break and players are going separate ways, and they're gone for a while. So I'm curious to see how we get on. I think that the England game's over this afternoon, or I guess this evening for you guys. We get the rest of the lads back in the pitch, but it'll be interesting to see what happens this weekend.
Absolutely, I can't wait. Well, homie, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a hard one because it's easy to look to Madrid and overlook this game against Arsenal, but it's a huge game for us because Chelsea are bound to win this weekend. They've got an easy game, so for us, it's old cliche, but it's a must-win for us. If you want to still harbor kind of like slight hopes for the top four. I agree with what everyone said. It's that we are a momentum team. And Liverpool notoriously, when we had like a long break, we generally don't tend to come back and
just flick it on like that. No, you're right.
It takes us a while for us to click. So that is a concern going to this game. But on the positive, some of our players on international have been in red hot form. So I am feeling that they're going to carry that into the Arsenal game. And I think I watched the West Ham game, and West Ham should be out of sight. They missed so many chances. Arsenal defense was really poor. And there's a chance when Antonio missed a good chance when it could have gone to 4-2 before Arsenal equalised and got their third. So I think if we were to go 3-0 up against Arsenal, like West Ham did, because Arsenal aren't coming back. So, so I feel like for us, if we can just clinical take our chances. Historically, again, our record at Emirates is not good. We never actually won there since Arsenal went to move to the Emirates, I can think of. So for us, it's kind of if we can just take our chances, be clinical, then we should be able to beat Arsenal.
Yeah, they always give us a good game though, and the thing about it is one player who looks on fire at the moment is Jota. I don't know whether you've seen it for Portugal. He scored a few goals, a lot of headers actually for a small fella. He can score a header, so he's great. Well, Jota, yeah. Jota has got the Lotta. What a player he is.
I think that rule book has gone out the window this season in terms of, we've typically been better when we've had shorter layoffs in between. I think all of that, I think everything's gone out the window. I think anything we've been good at last year or whatever has just gone completely. I actually think this break could be very good for us. We didn't have that many players away, really, did we? In fairness, most of them.
Not as many. We nobody with England, far as I know.
Or Brazil, England or Brazil, so weren't away. So I think he's had 3 weeks with the majority of the squads, nearly 3 weeks on the training pitch to start getting some things sorted out. You got to stand by his coaching. He knows what he's doing. So, and I would fully expect him to be fully prepared for Arsenal the weekend. And I'd be amazed if we don't get something out of that game. I'd be absolutely amazed.
Yeah, I think as well as just around the corner then on the Tuesday, of course, we have Madrid at the Bernabeu. It is at the Bernabeu. And that's such a bloody huge game, I mean, you don't want to go into that game with a negative, with a sort of a negative performance even against Arsenal. You want to build a bit of form going into that Madrid game because it's only, 3 days later. Steve, what do you think? We need to put in a performance, just to bring it in, just to roll it over to the Madrid game.
100%. I think we need to we need to gel well, and we need to play well, and we need the 3 points. And I think Arsenal's 9th in the table, but they're still a big club. Like, you can't ignore that. So I think getting 3 points, especially after that long layoff, would give the guys a huge boost. My biggest question actually heading into this Arsenal game as well, other than the center back partnership, is actually in regards to Jota. I mean, there's no doubt that he's in better form than a guy like Firmino has been. But when you think about how Arsenal likes to play, Real Madrid likes to play, they like to pass out of the back, and that kind of fits into the Firmino starting because he's so good at pressing, running the ball back, and linking up. Because, and also when you think about it, if we do fall behind, would you rather have a guy like Jota to be able to come off the bench and provide that spark, or would you rather have Firmino? It's like, that's kind of my question is, who's going to start in the front three with Mane and Salah? That's going to be an interesting question for me because I think I can very much see us going with the same exact 11 that we play against Arsenal and carrying that over against Real Madrid. So I think that's going to be really interesting to see.
That's an easy one, right? Jota's pressing better than Firmino at the moment. He looks more dangerous than Firmino at the moment, and he's scoring goals. That's just...
Jota has got to start. There's no doubt about it. What do you think, Scans? Andrew?
I think a lot of us Liverpool fans are we feel this nostalgia for Firmino. And I think that he's still a great player, and I think he still has a lot to offer. But just looking at what Jota has given us so far this year, and then after his injury, what he's just done for Portugal, he has to start. If you're not a Liverpool fan and you're looking at this objectively, he has to start. Doesn't matter. He scored 2 goals the other day against Luxembourg. I mean, he just it's a no-brainer for me. He has to start. And unfortunately for Bobby, he's going to have to come off the bench. He's going to have to earn back his spot. I'm curious to see what Klopp does against Real Madrid, but like Klopp always says, you have to focus up one game at a time. And this game, Jota has to start.
Yeah. What do you think, Wahome?
I think it's for Madrid, Jota has to start. I think Jota has to start both games to me. Because I think in Madrid one, we have to get an away goal. No matter what happens, we have to come away from Spain with a away goal. Yeah. Well, that's 1 or 2. And I think our best bet of getting that starting Jota. We replicate how we played against Atalanta. We went there and we smashed them 5-0. They couldn't handle our pace and our movement on their counter-attack. And for Madrid, they're very much a counter-attacking team. They don't know how to play low block. And if they score 1, Madrid aren't a team to sit back. They're a team to continue to go for goals. So there's going to be lots of space. It's going to be a massive pitch. So there's going to be lots of room for us to, play balls down the channels, play balls behind them. And also Madrid are going to play with and they do play Vasquez. He's an attacking winger, fullback, and Mendy does attacking. So they're not going to be doing much defending. They're going to be more attacking wise. So there's going to be a lot of space behind, to get Jota, Mane, or Salah down the flank. So I think for that game, I would play Jota and bring on Bobby later in the game. For Arsenal, I'd say Jota as well.
Goal against Arsenal. Bobby does love a goal against Arsenal.
It's great recording. It's great recording, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. He just came up from fitness injury, so I would play Jota.
Klopp gets the big bucks. He makes these decisions.
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, I play the same team we did against Wolves. I mean, the Wolves game, the team away from home, I play the same team against Arsenal. See how it goes. That way, that's what I do. Play the same team.
You're not changing midfield? Play Jones or Keita?
Don't think so. No.
They've had enough rest. I don't think they need further rest. I agree with Dave. I would just play the same team.
I don't think so. Yeah. I play the same team. If he starts mixing it up now, it puts doubts in his mind for the Madrid game. And then he's thinking, when I go back to the team I played against Wolves, and then there's a doubt in 3 days for the big, you might say one of the biggest games, of course. The chances of qualifying the top 4, they're not great, lads. Let's be real about it. I think we'd want to win 90% of our games. Are we going to do that? The form we're in. It's unlikely. It's possible. We are Liverpool. But, I'm being a realist here. We can only afford probably to lose one game.
I think the chemistry up front is going to dictate our season to the end. It will dictate how we get on in the Champions League. If the front three aren't firing, we can forget about it, really. We're probably going to need to shoot out past whoever we come up against, Real Madrid and Porto or Chelsea in the semi-final, and then you take a final and you play the way the final is played. But unless our front three are scoring, and we need Mane to start stepping up as well, so it's not just Bobby. Mane's been very indifferent recently. So if we can get some chemistry going up front with the front of those 3 lads, play them consistently to the end of the season and try and play them into some sort of chemistry. And then, we could easily win the lion's share of our games in the run-in. After Arsenal, it's United away, really. And then, now listen, it's been our Achilles heel all season, but on paper, if we get our shit together, there's still some points out there for us to pick up. So for me, I think those front 3 have to start pretty much every game if they're fit towards the end of the season, unless we're resting 1 or 2 for a final or something like that. But other than
that's why I think that Jota has to start, is because we are becoming way too predictable. And Jota's movement is so much different than Bobby's movement. He adds a different factor to that front 3. Salah can get more creative. Mane can get more creative. It opens up different avenues of space. So it'll be, I think he has to start the rest of the season, to be honest. I think the days of Firmino going 90 minutes and starting every game are long over.
I also think, going off of that, a guy like, when you think about the Premier League season, I think a guy like Naby Keita is going to be super important, because we've been really lacking that creative piece who can break down the low block from the midfield when we play against those bottom teams. So if he can just stay healthy, and even if we only play him in those matches, I think that's going to be a huge look for our team. So that's another thing to keep an eye on for the rest of the season.
So what would you, Steve? What team would you go? Would you go with the front 3, Jota, Mane, Salah, and would you go with the same 3 against Wolves, or mix it up?
I would. I think you guys are right. Personally, I think you kind of have to go with Jota right now. Look at what he's doing for Portugal right now too. He's absolutely on fire, and the last thing you want to do is cool him off. It would be great to have a guy like him to come off the bench to change the game if you need it. But you need to go out and play him 75, 90 minutes. He has to be out there. And like the point was made earlier, he is just as good, if not better, than Bobby right now when it comes to pressing. And he offers way more offensively. So I think he has to be in there. Yeah. And then, if we're in a tight spot, then maybe you make a change, like a Naby Keita coming off the bench in the midfield, something like that. But I think it has to be Jota in there. Keep up his momentum. And then I also think maybe having Jota in there could also give Mane a spark, in the sense of okay, now I got 2 guys here who can score a lot of goals. I got to start scoring goals too, and just have a little friendly competition there.
It did work out in the season when he was fit, when he was, when he was putting them under pressure. The whole unit worked a lot better. Now Joshua was stepping up and getting the majority of the goals, but it was far more cohesive a front 3 than it has been since he got injured. So he certainly adds a bit more to that, and I think he puts the other 3 on their toes. So I think he's a definite start for us.
Going off of that, I think the biggest thing with those 3 when they start is the fluidity of the movement. All 3 of them end up on all 3 spots of the front 3 line. And I think when you do that and you have that cohesive front 3 who is just always interchanging, as a center back, when I grew up playing a center back, it was a pain in the ass when people moved like that, because you had to keep looking everywhere, keep an eye on the ball. And all of a sudden, gaps open up. So I think if those 3 can just find that form early against Arsenal, it's going to be a long day for Arsenal. It'll be a long day for Real Madrid.
Yeah, I'd be amazed if we don't I'd be amazed if we don't see a couple of different plays coming out over the next couple of games. You know, so I don't like we're not going to be 85% going down either wings with balls into the box. I'd be amazed if there's not a trick or two that comes out after having 3 weeks with the teams.
Yeah.
But I love this comment from North Red. How did you get Big Alison Becker onto your podcast, Dave? the moustache, definitely, Steve. Defo, yeah.
Yeah. I can go shave it right now. I can match it with you.
Spitting image.
Go shave
it.
Give me 2 minutes. I'll buzz this off.
So what do you think, guys, in the midfield? We're fairly stuck on, obviously, Mane, Salah, Jota has to start. Would you keep the Fabinho, Thiago, Gini, Fulcrum there? I don't think you could break that up either.
I would like to see those 3, but while you guys were just talking, I was kind of thinking about what homie said, and I wouldn't mind seeing Thiago and Naby Keita in there with Fabinho. I mean, we got a quick glimpse of it, a brief glimpse of it against Chelsea when Thiago came on, and the two of them just looked like they had a natural chemistry together. They both just want to attack. They both just want to move the ball forward, and just having that anchor of Fabinho in behind them would just be a sight to see. It'd be awesome to watch that. So I would love to see Naby Keita come in and start this game, but I mean, Klopp is ever the conservative, so I think he's just going to go with Thiago, Gini, and Fabinho. But
Klopp rarely risks in big games. I think this is a big game. It's their first game back to get a bit of momentum for the big Madrid game, which I think he might be throwing all his eggs in one basket for the Champions League. We'll see what happens on Saturday. But the winning league games gives you confidence, so you can't really sacrifice one for the other. You know what I mean? You've got to win as many games as possible to keep the confidence going. I mean, the back 5, including the goalkeeper, Steve, looks good with Becker, and we've got Kabak, Phillips. We got to keep Kabak and Phillips fit for the rest of the season, because that obviously frees Fabinho up for us in the middle, and he's looked good in the middle. So we're fairly stuck on those 5 at the back. But it's just the midfield. I think we've more or less named the team here, unless there's an injury, which I hope there isn't between now and Saturday. I think that's the team, and possibly even could be the team to play Madrid.
Yeah, Ginny's played a lot of football over the last 10 days.
He's played for Holland, yeah.
Yeah, he's played a lot of football, so we'll have to see what he's like when he comes back. To be honest,
he's been one of our better players, Keith.
Yeah. You know, it just depends on what he's like. Now, listen, he's a machine. He's an absolute machine. He's probably well able, to be honest with you. But I'm sure they'll take a quick look at him to see what shape he comes back on with Madrid on Tuesday. I wouldn't be surprised if he misses out on Saturday to either a Jones or a Keita. I wouldn't be surprised, and then just keep him right then for Tuesday. I think Tuesday's match, in terms of what's left for us this season, is far more important. Yeah,
possibly. Obviously, we won't know until Saturday. But just before we came on here, I don't know whether you guys seen it. Redbird, the investment company in the States, bought 10% of Liverpool. Did you see that just before you came live?
Yeah.
I see James Pearce said something about it with The Athletic. Obviously, the club is valued at 5.3 billion sterling. So 530 million is the 10%. But I was also reading down in it that it's not 530 million just thrown into the club and you can buy Mbappe and you can do all this. It doesn't really, it's structured. Obviously, LeBron James is involved. I'm not big into basketball, but sorry, baseball. I know he's a basketballer, I'm only joking, but I'm not mad into it, but he's involved as well. But what do you think, guys? Obviously, it's an injection. We need some cash injection. We've lost 120 million since the coronavirus has hit. Something like that. Projected losses of Liverpool in 12 months, 120 million. And this will just cushion the blow for us. Now, it will help transfers going forward, but nothing amazing like Halland or Mbappe or anything like that. But what do you know anything about Red Play? There's something to do. Do you know anything about them? The investment company?
One of Jerry Cardinal. I know he's like, he's like monopolized TV in America. Like that's what he's been quite good at. So I read up a bit on him in terms of his vision, like how he the thought of getting a Super League. So he's hoping for a Super League because it gives the bigger clubs more power over TV rights. So his vision is that, and also analytics. I think we recently signed up to a new analytics.
We did, yeah.
Yeah, so that's part of it. The fact that he's very good at analytics in terms of using that to really dissect stats and find the best players possible. But I don't think it's going to be like so they invested in FSG. They're not invested in Liverpool. I think people need to realize there's different entities. So the money's not going into Liverpool. It's going to FSG because otherwise the Boston Red Sox will feel they've got a massive cash injection too, and it's not like that. And that money is going to be used for FSG to buy more other sports ventures. I heard they want to buy an NFL team, and they want to venture out in those. So I think the one benefit of this deal is the fact that Redbird owned Toulouse, which is Alexander's posted, So they want to copy the Red Bull method where Salzburg and Leipzig had huge success. So if we can have that where we can start sending our youngsters to Toulouse,
a feeder club,
to grow. And if it doesn't work out, we sell them big profits. That'd be great. And also Toulouse have sometimes been good at creating youngsters, over the years. So if we can then steal some of their youngsters to come to Liverpool, that'd be great. So I think in terms of that way, I think it's going to be a deal that's going to help us in the long term. Maybe not in the immediate future that people are hoping in terms of going out and getting Mbappe or Haaland, but it will help us in terms of, be better using data analytics, being like the leading front in Europe for analytics, in terms of, TV rights, in terms of, having us, as a bigger, more expansive overall organization. But in terms of actually funds in the club, it's not really going to be that way.
No. So you're telling me we're not buying Mbappe with that money? Is that what you're telling me?
What?
You're telling me we're not buying Mbappe with that money? Is that what you're telling me?
Forget about Mbappe.
Just switch that up.
I think Mbappe's gone to Madrid. They haven't got much money either, to be honest. But I'll tell you what the team.
Everyone's broke except for PSG and Man City and Chelsea.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and PSG and Man City are the oil barons of the world. And there's slight change, I think, in UEFA. Well, might be a slight change. Aren't they? Some sort of change in the FFP rules as well, which would actually suit PSG and Man City going forward. I mean, it's a business, and it's crazy. It's crazy. It doesn't really matter. I know it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. They can bend the rules anyway. We've seen that.
They just hire like 25 solicitors, like high-priced, legal people, just to scare the shit out of FIFA. So they're going to sue them for all they have, and that's pretty much it. And they just roll over and ask for their bellies to be tickled. That's pretty much.
Well, the owner of Qatar is on the financial committee for UEFA, so he's obviously involved in this kind of relaxing of financial fair play rules because he's in the board there.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Do you know what we'll do as well? I just want to have a quick chat about what was I going to chat about? I forget now. What? What was I saying? Do you like my top? I'm gonna paint the town red, baby.
Why don't you do over here? The green screen and let it fall on you again, just for a bit.
I have a new white screen. Look.
Yeah.
Have one ordered. Do you know what it was? It was just held up with just tape. But it was so fucking warm here, it just collapsed. You seen it live, and I went, oh, bollocks, there goes the green screen. Fuck's sake. I'll tell you what we can do. We can mix it up a little bit. We've got two Americans. We've got an English lad, two Irish. I was going to say a Paddy Irishman joke there, but we won't. But obviously the football, we're looking forward to that. We're half an hour in. For the last 10, 15 minutes, we can have a little chat if you want about genres of the 80s or 90s. You pick the decade. You just get to pick a decade, basically. If you say 80s, I'll ask you a question about the 80s. If you're too young, you can pick 90s. Don't give your age away. So, favorite band, as in rock band, pop band, elastic band, whatever type of band, gastric band, in what decade? Keith, you have to say the decade first, 80s or 90s, or noughties, I suppose, if you're really young.
Favorite band. There's different bands in different
could be anything.
Decades.
Yeah, but you picked a decade.
I used to be a Cure head, so I like the Cure. Late 80s and
into the 90s. Yeah, 90s. Yeah. What was your favorite song, The Cure?
So many.
Friday, I'm in Love.
No, it's too late. Some Forest probably one I really like. So one of the
Really?
early ones.
Yeah, you know what? I'm only in lockdown. I'm watching so much bloody 80s and 90s music. The Cure, brilliant.
Mm.
Okay, so we're gonna keep you in the 80s. You're stuck in the 80s now. Back to the Future. Steve, what decade? 80s or 90s?
I'll go 80s. I know these guys. I'm a 90s kid, but I did like to listen to some 80s music, especially to get me turned up from my footy matches. No, these guys started in the 70s, but I consider them an 80s band, AC/DC.
Ooh, double adapters.
Yeah. Hell's Bells by AC/DC.
Oh my God! Do you know what? I don't even think I know a song from AC/DC. I'm trying to think. Do I know a song from AC/DC? Probably know one.
They got like Hell's Bells, Back in Black, Thunderstruck. Yeah.
Thunderstruck. I do know that one.
A lot of stuff to get you jacked up.
Yeah, I know that one. Okay, Andrew. 80s or 90s or noughties?
I'll give you two. How about that? I'm going to go with one who, not really a band, more of an individual artist, but he was present throughout the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, and even today. Mr. Bob Dylan is my number one. Bob Dylan is my favorite.
All right.
Bob Dylan is my absolute favorite.
Wow.
And then in the 90s, for a band, I'm going to go something way off the charts here. Blink-182. All throughout high school, I listened to Blink-182. They're a punk band. Had my heart going. Had the emotions going. I felt good.
What wasn't their lead singer? He turned into a conspiracy theorist. Am I right saying that?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
I didn't say they weren't crazy. They're definitely crazy.
Yeah, he got hired by the U.S. government actually to do some like
UFOs and all. Yeah, aliens.
UFOs and aliens and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't know that part.
Yeah, I did. I actually do. Well, homie, let's go, baby. Don't give your age away. 70 style, is it?
Not that old yet.
Oh, God.
I'll do two like Andrew. 80s. I'll go for MJ. I think he's probably I grew up with him. I grew up with him.
Wow.
The days I used to practice dancing his moves, like end on days.
You see it? You gotta see it now.
Are you gonna see Dave as well, man?
I wasn't that good. I wasn't good.
You have to have a look at that on YouTube. Do the moonwalk there, homie. Let's go, baby.
Neither is Dave. Dave's isn't good either. He thinks it is, but it's not.
I was a big Michael Jackson, 70s, 80s, 90s, all the way. J5, the Bee Gees as well. Wow, the Bee Gees, beautiful.
And my 90s band was Blackstreet.
Who?
Blackstreet.
Blackstreet? I don't think I've heard of that.
What song did they have?
They're R&B singers.
Blackstreet Boys. Who?
Yeah, Blackstreet.
I think the Backstreet Boys. The
Backstreet. Blackstreet.
Oh, I do know.
They're big. If you want answer B, you know them.
Yeah. No, dude, big time.
Boys to Men's good one too.
Stay in your decade for a few minutes, guys. And when you were a kid, obviously 12, 13, 14, teenager, what was the one film that you went, wow, that's the film? And you've watched it, obviously, when you're older and you don't remember it when you were a kid. You know what type of film I'm going to... Like, mine was The Goonies, basically. The Goonies was just, wow.
Shuffle, shuffle. There it is. Shuffle, shuffle.
Hey, you guys! Keaton, let's go.
I loved Highlander in the 80s. Love that movie.
Yeah. Who wants to live forever?
Yeah, love the soundtrack, love the movie. Everything about it.
Brilliant.
Film, yeah. I actually showed it to my son. He's just on 14. He's like 5 minutes in. He's like, Dad, this is shit.
But see, do you know when you watch a film from the 80s?
Just watched it. These 5 minutes. That's shit. Graphics are shit. You know, the whole thing was just like the CGI was shit. Everything was shit. And I go,
yeah.
Hell.
No, Highlander's brilliant. Yeah, I remember Highlander. Steve?
I'm a huge dork on the side, so I'd have to say Lord of the Rings.
What?
Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings.
Great choice.
Yeah,
Great
absolutely.
choice.
Oh, yeah. I used to always try to be Legolas. Like, you know, with the bow and arrow. So
With real ones. People walking down the street.
He had friends. Don't worry, he had friends.
Lord of the Rings. That is a good choice. Return of the King.
That's impressive.
Andrew.
I'm gonna stick with the '90s and Blink-182. So I'm gonna go with Shawshank Redemption.
Oh,
Best movie of all time, or Pulp Fiction.
yeah, Pulp Fiction was that I was like,
bring in the Gimp. Bring in the Gimp. Bring in the Gimp.
I love that movie, man.
Oh my God, that's a fucking crazy movie. That is
Crazy.
Oh yeah, good choice. Well, homie, let's go.
Because I'm a horror buff, I love my horrors. I'm gonna go with Alien. I love
Brilliant.
The original Alien, the first one, the original one.
Aliens.
Yeah.
Aliens revolutionized horror films at the time, so I'm gonna go with that.
Oh my God.
I wouldn't
That was
consider that
scary.
horror. I mean, I get the fun of it. Yeah,
You don't think it's horror?
That was brilliant.
I think it's
was
more
it?
like suspense. I don't know.
Sci-fi horror. Sci-fi horror was a fucking horror.
Yeah, sci-fi
Horror
horror.
is
Then.
like horror is
Chest
like
bursters.
Paranormal Activity. I think that's horror. That shit scares me.
In space, no one can hear you scream is the strap line. So
That's
gotta
true.
be
That's
face
true.
the horror in the strap line. So you've got to.
There's a great film there by John Moore, Green Mile. That was an
Green Mile,
absolutely
Green Mile, yeah.
brilliant.
Well,
Stephen
I don't
King.
know-
Stephen King, I think, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw it. I like Con Air as well. That was the one I grew up on.
Yeah, have you
Con
seen
Air.
it? Yeah, Con Air. Yeah, seen
Con
it.
Air.
Oh, here's another great one.
that's a good show.
Goodfellas. Oh,
Yeah. Goodfellas.
Oh, Usual
Fantastic.
Suspects.
Here they're coming out now. Why didn't you mention that? That's brilliant. We're like the Usual Suspects here, the five of us. I think I'll put that on the podcast, the Usual Suspects. Okay, we're going to finish it off soon, but as a kid, I loved cartoons. Absolutely love cartoons. Still do, but 10, 11, 12 cartoon. We got a lot of the UK cartoons over here in Ireland, and especially we got a lot of the ones from the States and from Canada. What cartoons, Keith? You would have been similar cartoons to me, obviously.
Oh, fuck.
Or were you a cartoon buff?
Not really. I like Thundercats.
Thunder, go! That was brilliant.
Thundercats. That's classic. That's classic.
Yeah.
But I used to get the comics of that.
Go!
Classic.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Oh my god.
It's getting fucking worse.
I like this. Dave, I might steal this segment. I like this segment a lot.
Yeah, and I like mixing it up. So, Steve,
I like how
cartoon
you
time.
started off about music, Dave, and like I was thinking you were going to be some sort of music, but we hadn't got a fucking clue off the band.
I do, believe me. Don't get me started. Steve, cartoon time, baby.
Yeah. So I mean, growing up as a kid, I think my favorite one was a U.S. space show called Rocket Power. I don't know if you guys had that in Ireland or the States.
Nope.
Yeah, it's about these like kind of skateboarding kids from California. It was it was a pretty fun show. But I think other than that, when I was a little kid, I loved the Looney Tunes. You know, anything Bugs Bunny, that crew, Space Jam, that movie, awesome, all that stuff.
Yeah, Space Jam, yeah.
It's a baseball
Mahoney.
game, isn't it? Space Jam is baseball, isn't it? Yeah.
Space Jam is snooker. Come on.
For me, I'm gonna go for a film that just like touched me. Was I love dinosaurs, The Land Before Time.
Oh
Yeah.
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 Oh yeah.
I used to watch that over and over again. Over and over again.
I need a tissue. Jesus
Great,
Christ.
great
Don't
show.
remind me of that. Don't remind me of that one, for fuck's sake. Here's a good one. Roger Ramjet. Roger Ramjet.
Never heard of that one.
Never heard of it.
Or Lion King.
Uh,
Lion King. I cried for Lion King when I was a kid. I was like 7. When Mufasa died, I cried like ages.
Oh my God. It's all coming out now. I think Doug from the Dugout Football Channel absolutely loves the Lion King. That was the last question I asked of the fucking Lion King. Do you guys
Aladdin.
remember what?
Aladdin was a great one too.
Aladdin. Genie out of the bottle.
Yes.
Hopefully Saturday's out of the bottle. TV shows. Now, as you say, we get a lot of American shows and the 80s TV shows for me, like Miami Vice, V. Keith loves V as well. I don't know whether he's now V, the original series V now, Diana and Donovan and stuff like that. Miami Vice, Chips, Starsky and Hutch, Knight Rider, Airwolf, you know, even the A-Team, MacGyver, everything. What those type TV shows? What did you more 90s for you boys, wasn't it? Steve?
Yeah, I was in that age. Because I was 85, so I was around that age when there's the one. So yeah, I do remember the A-Team. A-Team was classic. B.A. Baracus. I grew up on that. On Baywatch.
Why did you watch Baywatch? Why did you watch Baywatch?
I'm going Baywatch too.
Who didn't watch it? Come on.
We're all lying if we're not saying Baywatch. Okay.
Yeah.
Baywatch.
Who didn't watch it?
Baywatch.
I love Twin Peaks. So messed
Yeah,
up. I love it.
David Lynch. The music is so. There's a scary, that's bloody music.
Amazing soundtrack.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Twin Peaks V. They're the two for me to stand out in the 80s. I don't know about you. Andrew? What were you? What was your show?
I'm going with Baywatch too.
Oh, you're Baywatch. Baywatch.
Baywatch. Yeah, I watch it pretty often.
You watched it for David Hasselhoff, was it?
Oh, it's all about the Hoff. It's all about the Hoff.
The lovely hair, the lovely luscious hair. You know,
North Red there is talking about some great scenery. Did it have scenery? I can't remember any scenery in that movie whatsoever. Actually, I can only remember red swimsuits. I can remember fuck all else.
All you had to remember.
Nothing else. No plot lines. Nothing else. Just red swimsuits. That's the only takeaway I got from that entire show.
Before we go, here's another one there. Star Trek. I wasn't really a mad Star Trek fan. I don't know about you guys. More Star Wars than Star Trek.
Star Wars.
I was a geek, so yeah, I watched Star Trek and I watched Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I watched
the Next Generation. Next Generation was one of them, wasn't it?
Yeah, Next Generation is good. Or Deep Space Nine.
Jean-Luc Picard. Engage number one. Engage. Yeah, he was there. But listen, we'll just keep this going for another few minutes because I'm enjoying it. I have a beer here. You guys don't even have drink, do you? The two Irish lads probably have drink. Everybody else has not.
I got water.
Oh, water. That's a good start.
I'm still on the clock, so I can't drink yet.
Oh, yeah. What time is it? What part of the States are you from, Steve?
Andrew and I were both in Boston. The FSG is.
Oh, very good.
East Coast. Yeah, East Coast.
Can you guys go camp outside the offices and for Mbappe 2021?
Well, occasionally John Henry will take his yacht into the Boston Harbor, so maybe I'll just hop aboard and just give him a quick pitch on Kylian Mbappe. We'll see.
Are you okay, Keith? Do you want to rock and roll, or are you staying?
No. I just had to do this for my son's room, so he's just called in now and said you're going to be much longer.
I want my room back.
Yeah, he's not paying any bills around here, but he can still order me around my own house. So
we're not going to be much longer. Another few minutes. But another thing actually I do. I don't know whether you like it. Or it's probably a bit boring, but ads. You know, adverts. Back in the 80s and 90s, some of the ads were just. We got a lot of American ads over here, and English UK ads. I don't know what it's famous ads. Like I'll remember famous ads, but they're more English ads than Irish ads. Like the likes of the Colgate ad. I don't know whether you remember that one, Keith. Did you? I think it was Madness in it.
No.
Colgate Blue Milky Gel. Yeah. Colgate Blue Minty Gel. Oh, brilliant. Ads like, you know, the Pepsi ads, Coca-Cola, the famous Coca-Cola 80s ad. I think was the Coke is it. Was it Coke is it? Maybe. Did a Michael Jackson Pepsi ad? Remember that?
Yep.
That must have been fire.
Yeah.
Well, it was his hair. His hair went for it. That was good. I like that, Andrew. Right, guys. Well, I think we'll leave it now if you want. Unless you want to say something else, people just keep throwing stuff in.
One more question I'd be interested in, just before we finish off, would be, because I may not get a chance to talk to all you lads, and I have enjoyed the last 45 minutes or so, gents.
Yeah.
It's nice to make all of your acquaintances. What do we think about reinforcements? What do we think about reinforcements in the summer?
His sleeves like this? Come on, baby.
That's a
Save
question.
this to last. I like it.
That's a good question.
Yeah, no, I mean, Dave, we talked about this on Cop Council last week. I mean, I think I don't know if it's for me. It depends on what we do at center back. Like, do we get rid of Matip? If we get rid of Matip, then we definitely have to bring somebody else in there. But like, I'd be comfortable just keeping Kabak and keeping Phillips and running those five if we want to go that way. In my opinion, we need a goal scoring attacking midfielder, and we need another guy who can play up in the front three. A Neto, even like a Memphis Depay who can play all three positions, something like that. I think those are really the two positions. I think like. Those are the two things. I mean, and I know Dave agrees with me. Those are the two positions, in my opinion, that we need to upgrade if we want to be a world-class talent year in, year out.
Yeah. Keith, what do you think we need to bring in?
I think our spine is tougher this year, if I'm being honest. Okay, so by the spine, I mean, right up through the middle. Obviously, Allison is okay where he is. Obviously, we've missed out at centre back. And with the injuries we've had and the effect it's had in our midfield, I think we played a lot of the season without an effective spine in place, and then structuring the start up front in terms of not getting enough goals, particularly through the number 9 position. So I think we need strengthening at number 9, and I think we need strengthening at centre half, potentially some cover at someone who can play on full back on both sides and actually put a bit of pressure on the two boys there. That would be it. And that's a massive wish list. They're probably two of the most expensive, judging by what's available in the marketplace. They're probably the most expensive positions to actually, replace. But for me, that's where we need strengthening. I think we need an all-conquering, free scoring number 9 up there. And I think we've enough players to press and win back the ball, lads. We need someone who's just going to score the goal. Half a chance, half a sniff. They bury it in the back of the net, and then I think we need cover centre half.
Well, what do you think of the Kanate or the Ibrahima Kanate from RB Leipzig? Now, it isn't a done deal, by the way, and they're actually pulling back from it now. It was all like it's a done deal. There he is signing the thing. Hold on, nothing's done yet. Relax. He hasn't done, and you're hearing all these weird things. He's a good centre half. He's 21, French under 21 international, big lad, 6'4", full of muscle, top of the range stuff. I'd like him. It's not a done deal, though. I don't know what the hell was going on during midweek. I even did a video on it, but I had a nice little question mark at the end of it going, what do you think it is? But I think we need a centre half. Kanate, I'll take him. It's an attacking midfielder and a striker. A Neto. I take Neto all day long. Central attacking midfielder, I don't know. Oyer, is that his name off Leon? He's been linked with him a lot. That would be my wish list.
It was, I think it was either Dominic King or Pierce mentioned him again this week. So, I think for me, I agree. I think
Maddox released the force. Was it Maddox came out with the force, didn't he? And then everyone seemed to pile on for whatever reason.
Yeah, I think he mentioned it. He got before last summer, Maddox, about again. But I think for me, like we need to. I think we're going to get 2 centre backs. Because I think we need 2 centre backs. I think it's stupid just by 1 centre back this summer. So I do think we'll probably get a Kanate, one of him. I think it will happen still. I think it's either we'll probably keep Kabak.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
We will keep Kabak. That's a defo.
And I think we have to get. I think we have to go for an OL. If we can't get him, then go after Odegaard at Arsenal from because he's going to go back to Madrid, and they don't have any agreement with Madrid to take him off the loan. But I prefer a while first. So I think we'll go for him. And then a striker, that's where it becomes difficult, the striker one, because people obviously want a top striker, and there's a lack of top strikers out there across Europe. So Mbappe or Halland, I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's unrealistic. Then you're looking at Donnell Marlin at PSV. I don't think he's that great, but I know he scored a lot of goals. Or then you got that Fiorentina lad who scored like 13 goals or something. So there's not really great. So unless you go for a wide forward and you go for like a Sancho, because I did hear like I think I read last week how they said that Klopp wants to keep all the current 4 and add to them. So that said to me that no one's leaving, especially the comments that Marnie's recently made about how he loves at Liverpool. Salah's going to get a new contract. I don't think Bobby's going to be sold. So it makes you think, how can we then afford an Mbappe or Haaland? So I think
I don't think we're ever getting them, to be fair. To really be fair, it's never going to happen.
Nah, we might go for Sancho because Dortmund not Origi. They're desperate for Origi. So
swap Origi for Sancho. Plus a few quid. A lot of quid. What do you think, Andrew? What do you think we'll do? I love Neto. I love Neto off Wolves. I mean,
yeah, I'd be surprised if the
I'd be
Wolves.
surprised if what better.
He's not going to play through the middle either, is he? He's more. Somebody's just thrown in Harry Kane there. I'd love to see him at Liverpool.
Would you?
Yeah.
Would you take Harry Kane? Yeah.
Yeah. I'd take him in the morning. I think he'd score bags of goals. Now, listen, he's not going to, by the way. But England captain, he probably cost about 100 million. But I'd love to see him. I think I don't care what he does. I don't care. I know he's diving all over the place and whatever else. But I think he'd score a shitload of goals.
Oh, he'd definitely score goals. And he'd get a lot of chances as well.
Well, I'm actually thinking of, number 9s out there in the marketplace. Number 9, as you said, there's not a glut of them.
No.
Some lads coming in there saying, no, not Harry Kane. He'd have to learn how to stay on his feet. Sure. We've had plenty of number 9s in the front who went down, and took penalties in the past. So that doesn't bother me. Like Suarez, everybody else hated him, but we loved him. It doesn't really matter. Once he puts the shirt on, everyone will love whoever comes to it. But, who out there can get us 25, 30 goals a season from the number 9 position? And I think it's something that we're missing and something we haven't had. And I think the way we're playing football and the way we're creating chances, we don't have a natural finisher, really. They've got a natural finisher in that number 9 position. Salah gets his fair share of goals, but he gets them off the back of a fair share of chances.
Yeah, that's true.
And in tight games, you're just looking for someone to step up there. And we've always had one in the past, whether it was Torres or Fowler or Owen, one of those lads who's just natural finishers. I don't think we have a real natural finisher at the club at the moment. And I'd love to see one, the way we play football.
Yeah, everybody was pointing to Rhian Brewster. I remember when he broke into it, saying he's natural finisher. He's the next thing to an Owen or Fowler, and obviously he's gone to Sheffield United. But as Keith says, he's natural finishers are hard to come by. Proper natural finishers where the ball falls to them, always in the right fox in the box, whatever you want to call it. Tap-ins, 20 goals. I'm like Gary Lineker, 25 goals a season tap-in merchant. But and they cost so much money. I mean, Harry Kane to Liverpool, you never know. I'd take him. Would you take him, lads? Steve? Would you take Harry Kane?
Of course I would.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a mistake if you didn't. If you had the opportunity not to take him. I mean, he's proven in the Premier League, and that obviously there'd be the English tax plus him, coming over from Tottenham. But he needs to stay on his feet, all that stuff. But I mean, you've seen him at Tottenham this year. He does a lot more than just score goals now. I used to think he was kind of a tap-in guy, but he works hard defensively. He's kind of like almost a better version of Firmino, in my opinion. I would 100% take him. I think he'd fit in really well.
Yeah, no, he
would.
And
as the English captain, it gets you 10 penalties a year, at least.
Yeah, and he could bring on his Olympic diving medals. He could put them in the trophy room. His Olympic diving medals on the trophy wall as well. But I don't know. Well, I still think it'd be huge money, the wages involved and stuff. Could you see it happen? Unless one of the front streamers. I can't see it.
But I'd love it.
I can't see it.
I'd love to see an out now, number 9, not closing down lads, not coming out of position, not dropping himself back into midfield, literally sitting on the shoulder, occupying the 2 centre halves, and knows what position to take up in the box. When we're putting like 25, 30 crosses into the box, you're putting that level of crosses into the box, that number of crosses, and you've got a number 9 in there who could score with his left foot, his right foot, and his head. He's going to get his fair share of goals. It's as simple as that. I don't think we have it.
Yeah.
I don't think we have it.
We don't have it. No.
But the only 2 9s like that in Europe are Halland and Kane. Because I don't think Mbappe's that kind of player. He's more of a utility forward that can play across various roles.
Yeah.
So we're not going to get unfortunately one of those 2. Of course we've got
Halland would be the absolute, not even Mbappe. Halland for me would be a dream signing for Liverpool. For me now, I think he would be unbelievable. Just Halland, just bring in Halland, keep what we got, get everyone fit. I even think just one signing like that would nearly do us, to be honest.
Yeah.
He wants 300 grand a week or something. I saw this week.
We pay high wages. I think we're the 3rd highest wages in the Premier League. I couldn't believe it when I seen it. We usually we're usually mid-table when it comes to wages, but we've crept right up with the likes of Mane, Salah, Bobby, Alisson's on huge wages for a goalkeeper. Van Dijk, yeah, Virgil, Genie even was on big wages. So even Keita's on big wages. So we've crept up with wages. So that fallacy of Liverpool not paying wages is gone out the window. And actually, I think Arsenal as well. Everybody said Wenger never paid the wages, but actually they're way up on the wages list as well. But guys, I am at Halland would be optimum, says why not? And why not is absolutely correct. from Columbus, Ohio, why not? How are you, my friend? Hopefully you are well. It's great having these comments coming in from all over the world, isn't it, guys?
Yes, it is.
But I'll tell you what, we give it the hour. We'll be 5 minutes to go. We'll give it the hour. Do you want to say anything for the last 5 minutes, boys? Or do you just want to throw anything in? Throw anything out?
I'm gonna have to drop off now. My son wants his room back. So
you give your son his room back.
Yeah.
Keep on.
Listen, lads, it's been a pleasure talking to you all, meeting you all. I look forward to chatting to you again. Have a good afternoon, evening, everybody, and I'll chat to you soon.
Take care.
Cheers. I'll just take Keto out. Gone. I think.
Yeah, he's gone.
Okay, guys. I'm enjoying this. I don't know whether he's like the mix-up of the talking about music and cartoons and films.
I like it. I like it.
I love it. I love mixing it up. I might even change the name of my channel to some sort of a funny sort of, But I like mixing it up because, I mean, you could do an hour show with 4 or 5 people talking about Liverpool. But if you go out and over an hour, or even an hour, I think is hard. And to keep people's in the comments, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think you got to mix it up. I really do. I think you've got to mix it up. And that's why I like doing that. And I even used to do a live show up to about 3-4 weeks ago. But I couldn't put it on YouTube because it would be copyrighted. I'd have music playing in the background. I'd have Jacko. I'd have everyone, any music playing. And I'd be asking people in comments, what's your favorite song? What's your favorite intro? Say Dallas or Falcon Crest or whatever it is. Or name that intro, for 5 seconds.
That's fun.
Oh, that type of stuff. Oh, it's absolute. I wish I could upload it. I can't because it'd be copyrighted like
damn
that.
YouTube. Yeah, damn YouTube. But no, it's fun because it keeps it light. You know what I mean? So I like how we kind of bring that stuff in and then kind of come back to Liverpool. It keeps it fun. It's entertaining and you actually get to know each other a little bit too, which is fun.
Yeah, it's not all serious, basically. I mean, you could be on a serious podcast and you're nearly like this, and you won't move. You won't even move your jaw to speak. So So for me, it's not. It's a hangout. It's like sitting in a bar. You're chatting to your mates, and the match is on the background. You're chatting, and that's I think the way it should be. Really, when you think about it, especially in these crazy times, But just before we go, guys, how are you getting on now? Obviously, I'm here in Ireland, in Dublin, and the coronavirus situation is crazy. We're still in a lockdown. Easter now is this weekend, and we'll be in lockdown at least till the 12th of April. We have a 5-kilometer limit, which is about 3 miles limits. You can't sort of go outside that or you're asked questions. It's 1984 stuff. It is 1984. Like I would have said to you this time last year. Well, you might have said this time last year, but even say February or January last year. Like all this stuff is going to happen. You would not have believed it. It would have been a movie.
I remember when we first heard the news that we were no longer going to be working in the office, we all thought we would be back in the office by Memorial Day in the States, which is late May. I
Yeah, I know it, Jeff.
Yeah, so I mean, the fact that it's been another year of this has just been insane. I mean, fortunately for us here in the States and in Boston in particular, things have been going pretty well. People are starting to get the vaccine, and with the new presidential administration in, they're hoping to get everybody vaccinated by the summer, I think. So, we've been doing pretty well over here after the initial hiccups, but hopefully it just keeps going on this trajectory because you guys are struggling in Ireland, and I think the UK is still.
No, we're actually getting on top of it now. It's taken a long time because we're obviously still part of the EU. And Wahomey there, they jumped out the back door of the EU there recently, did a Brexit. But I mean, the EU, to be fair, have fucked it up. I don't know what they basically
AstraZeneca, right? AstraZeneca has been pretty poor.
Whatever, Moderna, the whole lot of them. And AstraZeneca was one of the main ones, and they made a bit of a boo-boo there. I mean, we have a small population, 5 million people. You know what I mean? Some cities in the States are bigger than that. So we should easily be able to vaccinate everybody within a few months, but it's looking like it'll take till summertime now. You know, maybe July before everyone. I don't know what homie. You're doing okay over in the UK. I obviously find out Sky News every morning and stuff like that. The UK is doing a lot better with its vaccines.
Yeah, they're getting mostly people vaccine, but people a bit crazy here because like they were showing pictures of people in parks, no masks on, no social distancing, like massive groups of people. Like, you know, it just makes you think they were doing like they did a bulletin today say like the government said, look, just because you've been vaccinated doesn't mean you go, please abide by social distance rules, otherwise you undo all the hard work you've done. So I think it's going to come back in London because people don't care. They think once they get vaccinated, they don't need a mask anymore.
Oh my God. Yeah, listen, I don't think it'll ever go away, to be fair. It could be like a seasonal flu thing. Every year you have to get a jab. Every January or something you have to get a jab. Unfortunately, I think it'll become endemic in society because it's too far spread now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the problem. I know more about this bloody thing now. I've been following this since January last year, by the way.
Yeah.
I first got a tweet. Oh yeah, well before it even came out. Like back in January. Yeah. I thought it would have been worse, to be fair.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have been a lot more deadly. You know, if it would have been more deadly, it would have been worse, wouldn't it? I mean, like, and it didn't really affect kids as much, which is the great part, I think.
That is great. Yeah.
Like, if it would have affected, say, under 18s, like it affected over 70s, you would have had a problem.
Big problem.
You would have had more of a problem. You know.
Stadium. That's what next year. That's what I'm hoping. Fans in the stands.
Yeah, I mean, like, we're talking about the coronavirus, but I mean, you know, we're just mixing it up here.
Well, they said there could be fans in the stands for the final of the Champions League, so you get the Istanbul.
That would be awesome. That'd be awesome.
Oh, I'll tell you what, guys, it is possible, but everybody's writing Madrid off. We're jumping back into Madrid here. Anything goes on this channel. Anything goes. That's the way I like it. We could be talking about aliens a few minutes ago. Now we're talking about the Jackson 5, and now we're talking about COVID, and now we're talking about the Madrid game. Actually, Liverpool are involved. But I mean, the Madrid game for me, it's not going to be easy, boys. I said it in a podcast with Chris Pajak. Those boys, Madrid, are the kings of the European Cup or Champions League, whatever you want to call them. We are the princes. We've 6. They've 13. You know, I know we won a load of them back in the 50s and 60s, but still, cups, European Cup's the cup, and that's it. So it's princes against the kings, and sometimes the princes beat the king. You know, the king could be getting a bit old. They're an old type of team, especially in defense. So I'm hoping our young princes can take the throne, baby.
Well said, Dave. I love it.
Well, that's what I'm looking forward to. Yeah, absolutely.
There's a dream.
What?
Number
7 is coming home, and as you say, it just seemed, just the way everything is, it could be possible. Anything's possible with Liverpool, as we know. Guys, I don't know if you want to rock and roll now or not. We're 1 hour 3 minutes in.
I got to rock and roll. I can get back to work here, but
I got jet.
I'll tell you what, we'll call it a day. I enjoyed that. We covered everything. I'd be afraid to write the description for this because, you know, it's 6 pages long. Lads,
right.
We'll do it again, and I'll come on your channel. Everybody in the comments as well, thank you very much for coming in. Keith Hanley for coming in, my mate Keith. Stay safe. Big game the weekend, guys. Before we go, I'm going 2-1 Liverpool. Quick around. Let's go.
3-1 Liverpool.
2-0.
Andrew?
2-0.
2-1.
2-0. Steve?
3-1.
Steve? 3-1. What'd you say, Mohammed? 2-all?
2-1.
2-1. You go 2-1. They're going Mo Salah, king of Egypt. Mane in the mirror. Make that change. Okay, guys, stay safe. Talk to you soon.
Cheers, Dave.
See ya.